Now, you all know the so-called left have been clamouring for all kinds of restrictions and control on our lives over the past year and even going forward. Every draconian rule that's been brought in by Boris Johnson has been cooed over by the likes of The Guardian, while also claiming he should have shut down the country and people's freedoms harder and faster. I mean, we all remember Labour's talk last year about lockdowns, asking for longer and stricter ones because Sage had been on the BBC spewing out fear porn like Sadiq Khan's London spews out stabbing victims. Oh yeah, for those who don't know, we have another 4 years of that odious little fuckpig there, but that was always going to happen, let's be honest. The people who actually bother to vote in London vote Labour and likely always will. But I should say, for the most part, people here just don't seem to follow politics at all. They really don't care about it, because many see the same outcomes regardless of who's in charge. Which in all honesty is not really far wrong, considering, like I say, Labour and the Tories are two cheeks of the same shit-covered arsehole. One obviously just does a better job of cleaning it off before the elections, while the other does its best to turn the voters against them, literally with each passing day, while fighting amongst themselves like the idiots we know them to be. Shit, the last few days have shown that beyond all doubt when you look at the Twitter posts from these tosspots. But back to voter ID and flip-flopping tosspots. On Tuesday, the Queen's speech is expected to outline the government's plan for voter ID, which naturally the soy-guzzling fuckpigs at The Guardian hate with a passion. They obviously support vaccine passports and all measures of draconian lunacy that maybe millions donated by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation paid them to support. But when it comes to voter ID, that is obviously racist and discriminatory, while a more restrictive and discriminatory medical papers please country to get inside a pub or go shopping is obviously not. This also spits in the face of the ethnic minority shitweasels like The Guardian actually claim to champion. Their own figures suggest minority groups are less likely to fall in line with the government's demands, so health passports supported by these idiots will surely discriminate against them much more than voter ID actually would. Now, some people might say voter ID and vaccine passports are the same thing, but obviously that is just bollocks. Voter ID proves who you are and that is it. It does not reveal private medical information as a condition of using a public service, entering events or just living your life. And let's be honest, these vaccine passport zealots actually support the sort of lunacy pan shop Rod Stewart proudly promoted a month or so ago.
We need to make sure and roll out the situation that we have the vaccine passport. No more talking about it, no more pussyfooting about with it. Let's get it moving. Let's get a government scheme out there and let's get everybody working on it as soon as possible. No more sort of pretending we might have it, we might not have it. It's the only way that we are being offered to get out of the current situation. We now need to stop talking. We need to make it happen. And as a Prime Minister, it's the Prime Minister needs to say, this is what we're gonna do. This is the way to get back to where we was, and let's get on with it and let's all work together on it. And no more doubting about it. There's no other option. But look, undoubtedly, 2 or 3 months ago, I came up with the idea, no jab, no job. And that's something we're carrying out at Pimlico Plumbers. Nobody's going to come and work for us unless they've had the vaccine and they've got proof that they've had it. We're not going to send engineers out to customers' houses once the vaccine is properly rolled out unless they've had the vaccine. So for me, it's a no-brainer. From a business point of view, it's a must. And, the quicker that everybody acknowledges that, without proof of the vaccine, you can't go into a pub, club, restaurant, gymnasium, anywhere at all. You can't travel, theatre. You can't even go into work. I mean, personally, I have to say, I don't even think that we should allow people on the streets unless they've had the vaccine.
Naturally though, The Guardian's moaning about the Queen's speech makes absolutely no mention of their love for papers please when it comes to these vaccine passports, and instead just bangs on about voter ID and social care reforms. This sort of stupidity from media outlets is actually commonplace. They all flip-flop like the best of them depending on what day of the week or agenda they are actually following. As some of you might know, it's a bit like this tosspot we have here.
And in theory, if you go swimming in the sea, you should be wearing a mask.
I mean, let's be honest, The Guardian's support for vaccine passports while opposing voter ID is on par with the stupidity shown by Dr. Shirley Jones, who thinks waterboarding yourself is better than catching the Rona.
Where